Hey, I want to take a little time today to do a video here that I did not plan on doing. And since I did not plan on doing it, I didn't do any preparation. So therefore, this video is going to be a little rambling and disjointed. And people who watch my videos regularly are kind of giggling right now because they know I never prepare for my videos. I just start filming and they're always rambling and disjointed. That's part of my charm. That's my style. But what I wanted to talk about is something I heard on the radio. I was down in the greenhouse a few minutes ago. That's why my hands are all dirty. And I was listening to XM radio, and I was listening to Fox News, and I was listening to CNN, kind of back and forth on the dial. Those are two of my presets. And I heard a reporter say something that I just strongly disagreed with. This reporter was talking about the conspiracy theories, people challenging election results, people bringing the system into question, etc. And he was talking about how all of these things are so un-American. And, how can a politician start questioning the system? And how can people start demanding recounts and questioning the system? And all these conspiracy theories that people believe that's so un-American. And I just want to stand up and say, that's bullshit. I can smell that bullshit over the actual bullshit I had in there with me. I'm working with manure, and yet I could still smell that bullshit over this bullshit. You know what I mean? So I just wanted to come on here and say that that's garbage. I can't think of anything more American than conspiracy theories, questioning the system, not trusting things we have in place in this country, definitely not trusting politicians, protesting, all that stuff. Some of the most American stuff you can do. And when it comes to this election, I think everything's going the way it should go in this country. Because here's a little hint for you. If things ever went smoothly regarding an election, something as big and important as an election in this country, the way we do things, I'd be worried. Like G-Web said in the live chat last night, I would get suspicious if things went perfectly. In a country where we're divided pretty much 50-50, and politicians make sure to maintain us divided 50-50 because they don't ever want one side to be the definite majority, because if one side wins, they start looking to their politicians and going, okay, now do the things you said you were going to do. And when they go, well, we don't really want to do those things, people would have to answer for that. So they maintain that 50-50 division. And in a country that has that 50-50 division, if we ever had an election where they went, this person won by 80% and all the politicians agree and no one's mad, no one thinks anything crazy happened, I'd be like, something crazy just happened. Either aliens have taken over or something, because that doesn't happen in this country. People don't accept stuff like that, etc. And I said aliens take over the country. People, that brings you to conspiracy theories. And so like, well, why are conspiracy theories American? Well, conspiracy theories are American because we as Americans, we question things. And conspiracy theories are part of questioning things. And I'm not someone to say, go cry wolf every time something you think is odd happens. Like with something that happened, just here's a recent example. People started screaming last night, they're bringing in ballots from California to count in Nevada. I think it was Nevada, it might have been Arizona. And then people were like, no, this is sound equipment, we're Fox News. And then they're like, well, we still think you're doing it. But I'm like, oh, no, it's sound equipment, it's Fox News. The way you should handle those situations is keep the loud part that you just shouted, keep that inside for a while till you verify what's happening. If you think something's happening, investigate. And if it's like, it's just Fox News carrying in sound equipment, you just go, okay, but just know we're watching. And if that doesn't turn out, if that's like, I don't believe you, that doesn't look like sound equipment, do some more investigating. But don't cry wolf until you know there's a wolf. Because here's the thing about conspiracy theories. Most of them are wrong. That's just the reality. Especially if they're coming from someone that's just like one anonymous source on the internet. If you're believing one anonymous source on the internet, that's the whole basis for your belief system, you might be a little bit too gullible. But if you listen to that one voice on the internet and then you find information that backs it up, legitimate, hard facts, not just stuff they fed you, then that might be truth. It might not be a conspiracy theory. Now, I've worked in the intelligence field in my life, and I'll have to tell you right now, I don't believe in most conspiracy theories because, in my opinion, there are two types of secrets in this world. The ones that people have already told you, and the ones that you'll find out soon. Because not great at keeping secrets, especially in a large government and this day and age of technology. So I don't think there's a lot of conspiracy theories that are true. But that doesn't mean you don't listen, because what if they are? Now, I don't believe that the United States is run by lizard people in skin suits. A little bit crazy. I don't believe the world is run by baby-eating Satan worshipers. A little bit crazy. However, I wouldn't be totally surprised if I saw a picture of Nancy Pelosi eating a baby. I still wouldn't think that meant, well, all the world's leaders are baby eaters. I'd just be like, yeah, I don't find it surprising that Nancy Pelosi eats babies. So I'd still want more information. But like I said, not all conspiracy theories are true. In fact, most of them aren't. But there's some that are. Sometimes it turns out. But just that's why you got to pay attention. Like if you have a foghorn in your town and this guy John let's go up there and run the foghorn like something's going on. Like, oh, I need your attention to tell you something. And every day he gets up there and cranks that foghorn and goes, the government's stealing my memories. And you're like, it's just John. He likes attention, blah, blah, blah. But the next day you might hear the foghorn go off again and you're like, oh, there's John again. But you look up and you're like, wait, it's Janet. Janet's blowing the foghorn. Janet doesn't usually do that. Janet might have something to say. You might pay attention. Janet be like, the government's stealing my property. And you'd be like, well, we can't let that happen. So you got to pay attention because you never know, is it John or Janet? But don't be a John. Don't be someone who screams every time. Like I said earlier, don't cry wolf. Try to be a Janet. Only sound the alarm once you have some information. But the conspiracy theories themselves, that's very American as far as I'm concerned. Conspiracy theories, questioning the system, wanting to verify the system, asking for recounts, asking for hand counts, saying we don't accept this reality until we get proof. We're not taking your word for it. Because the day we sit back and go, well, I trust all the politicians and I trust the system, that's the day we're a bunch of sheep and they can do whatever they want. And that's not the American way. I don't think it'll ever get that way in America because that's not who we are. We question things. And that's one of the most American things we can do. So people in the street screaming, count every vote, and people in the street screaming, verify every vote, are both equally American as far as I'm concerned because they're doing what they should. They're being vocal about what they want to happen. They're being vocal about wanting the system to work, but they're being vocal also on one side about, well, we don't completely 100% trust the system. And if the results were reversed, the people would be reversed in what they're screaming. That's America. That's as far as I'm concerned, that's one of the most American things we can do. Not trust our politicians, not blindly trust the system. We can respect the system, but we still have to verify. If there's 6 million votes and one person wins by 800 votes, I'd be like, yeah, especially if 900 votes were cast aside and not voted, I'd want to know, well, why were those ones cast aside and could they make a difference? Nothing wrong with wanting to know that, period. Even if you're the most liberal person in the world right now and you're like, Joe Biden won and you got to accept it. Well, yeah, they do after they verify that he won. And you should be given the same option if it's the other way around. If it ends up Trump wins, you should be able to verify that Trump won. Especially if you've got valid concerns. Now, if you just jump up and scream, I think all the lizard people voted for Trump and they're not registered. They're actually from, Venus or something. Well, that's probably not going to gather as much attention from me as it might some other people. But if you say, hey, they had some people questionably throwing out provisional ballots and mail-in ballots, etc. The mails did some weird things, etc. And we want to verify this stuff. I'd be like, God damn, yeah, we do want to verify that. We want the system to be honest. And honest doesn't mean partisan. It means either which way it turns out, the other side should be able to verify it. So I just wanted to say that today, and I know it's been rambly and long, but believing in conspiracy theories, you believe them if you want. Listening to them is not un-American. The very fact they exist is definitely not un-American. It's that foghorn going off so people pay attention, and I want people to pay attention. Also, challenging the system, not un-American. It's as American as you can be. Not trusting politicians or people that run elections, definitely not un-American. It's as American as you can possibly be. So if anyone's got a problem with any of these things, protests, wanting verification, not trusting the system, calling into question the veracity of our leaders and the honesty of our leaders, and maybe coming up with some things we think might be why some of the things are the way they are that they don't want us to know. Nothing un-American about all that. So if that stuff ever stops, then I'll be worried. But for now, like I said, with all this going on, we just have to be patient and let it happen because nothing could be more American than, things being a little chaotic and things being a little rough and things, tempers getting a little hot, because that's the way we are. We're Americans, and that's how we do things. Hey, this is the Yankee Marshal, just reminding everyone out there that if you disagree with anything I say in any one of my videos, be it something political or tactical, I am going to give you the opportunity to come talk to me face to face instead of just having to put stuff in comment sections where someone might not even read them. You can come in one of my live chats and tell me off in person. You just have to send an email to shootingleftofcenter@gmail.com, and in the subject line of that video put slap the yank, and then I will get back with you and set up a time where you can come in one of the live chats and tell me off face to face.